Ashford here. I'm back again, bringing you headline number 6 now. We're on top headlines around the world. And we're finding some very interesting pieces of news here as we explore what are the priorities of others that are not prioritized by the things that's going on right here in Washington, D.C., although they might have to make decisions and do things about the business of Washington, D.C., may have even care about the political pose, but there are other things that's going on in their own areas that may have an impact. And we're taking you around the world by pulling some of the front page stories for January the 29th, Friday, January the 29th, and you're with StreetNOW News. You're a jick right now, and we're talking about that. We've taken it to 5 newspapers. We said we were only going to do 3 to 5 today, but we're having such a wonderful time looking at some of this stuff that we want to share it with you. These are top headlines, and we're taking you to another newspaper that we selected. It's paper number 6. We're going around the world. Paper number 6, our headline number 6 is going to come from the Miami Herald in Miami, Florida, y'all. Miami, Florida. Yeah, you cannot forget Miami, Florida. Yeah, right down there in Miami, Florida. We're looking at the top headlines for January the 29th. I'm Terry-Dwayne-Ashford. And what we're looking at, before we get to the very top headline story, we are looking at a national story that on page 6A, Ghislaine Maxwell files are unsealed, but many secrets remain buried. So it looks like someone lost a life, and still questions are surrounding that life and the loss of that life. We're also looking at some stories regarding the Oscar nominee Cicely Tyson down there. That's on page 7A of the Miami Herald that we're talking about today. We're also looking at the virus crisis down there, the coronavirus crisis down there. Heat fans need to pass the sniff test. Oh, yes, they have a sniff test. They have a sniff test down there in Miami, y'all. And we have to look at more about what that sniff test is. But that sniff test involves Global Canine Protective Services, and looks like dogs there too. They use COVID-19 sniffing dogs. Happy to check fans out before they enter the American Airlines Arena, before the Miami Heat's game. Yeah, and so that's was one of the front page stories on the Miami Herald. Another serious story that graced the front page was an inmate that died of brain injury after altercation with jail deputies there in a Broward County jail. It appears that a man suffering from mental illness and awaiting trial at the Broward County Jail on charges of criminal mischief and marijuana possession died Wednesday after altercation a week earlier with jail officers. And so that is graced the front page story of an officer beating a jailer, beating an inmate who was in on marijuana charges there. Looks like the mayor down there it has announced initiatives for startups. She's hoping to get some business waving and going, and tech fever sweeping over Miami with the SoftBank executive and where they've announced $100 million venture capital initiative aimed at fueling startups, businesses down there in Miami, Florida. Thousands of COVID vaccines doses have spoiled or been spilled in Florida. So, look like very serious cases here of the COVID virus. But down there, gracing the front page is a virus crisis of the vaccine doses being spoiled or been spilled. What's going on with that here? The announcement was made by the Florida Department of Health saying 3,344 doses of COVID vaccine viruses sent to the state were spoiled because the vials broke and went unused after thawing. Okay, so that's 3,000 doses that was spoiled of the vaccine. Well, that's going to be your headlines for the Miami Herald. January the 29th, brought to you by StreetNOW News and our headline discussion around the world. Our headline discussion around the world selected the Miami Herald, a prominent newspaper down there in Florida, as one of our newspapers of choices to talk about today in Washington, D.C. I'm Terry-Dwayne-Ashford, StreetNOW News. StreetNOW News, also your journalist-in-chief broadcaster, who's also your Indacarseat, that guy.